Hello everyone and welcome back to the RITMIX Russian DOTA2 League. This is going to be the winner bracket final between Team Dignitas and Virtus.Pro. The winner moves on to the grand final. Loser drops down that loser's bracket and they have to face off against No Tidehunter in another best of 3 to see who makes it to the grand final. So hoping for a good best of 3 here, and of course it is a best of 3 between the two teams. We're going to have VP taking up the Radiant side for this particular game. And that leaves Dignitas to the Dire. First pick going to VP, we're going to see this first banning phase already well underway with Darkseer being banned out by Virtus.Pro, as well as Dignitas banning out the Wisp. Darkseer, not a hero that we see get banned out a ton anymore. Kind of was always banned back in the days when we had 3 bans before first pick, but after we kind of were forced to aggressive up the banning and picking phases with those only 2 bans pre-first pick. Kind of always makes it through nowadays, but we're going to see him banned out here, and then Nyx Assassin coming up from VP as well as Bat Rider, which leaves Keeper Light in the pool if VP want to pick him up here. Wouldn't be too surprised to see that, of course, Keeper Light, a hero that we do see get first picked quite often, but there are other options in the pool, and if Virtus.Pro don't really favor the VP, they could always go for something else, like maybe a Magnus. We've even seen Rubik from time to time get first picked as of late, just because he's kind of a support that's very valuable. But it looks like Virtus.Pro could spend a little bit more time thinking about it before they actually go and decide to pick up the first pick. And they're going to go with actually Lone Druid. So picking up the carry is pretty resilient in his own right, hard to gank, as well as good at laning by himself. He can get those solo levels and pretty much farm without really being in too much danger, just as a result, by virtue of having that Spirit Bear ally to farm for him while he just hides back far behind the creep wave, just in lasso range. Now looking for Dignitas to pick up their first 2 heroes to respond to the Lone Druid, and you could kind of somewhat expect that VP could go for a sort of pushing lineup here on the back of the Lone Druid. Even if they go for a pretty farm heavy lineup, they're always going to have that Lone Druid who can really, as he gets farm, just melt towers down with the Spirit Bear. Of course, he gets that demolish ability on the Spirit Bear once he hits level 7, level 4 in the Spirit Bear. And that's something that Dignitas have to be aware of right now. And they're going to start off by picking up Lifestealer as well as Gyrocopter, 2 heroes that are kind of seen as carries, being laned in tri-lanes as the farmers quite often, but definitely one of them won't be here as we have them both picked up on the same time. Lifestealer is a pretty fair matchup for a 1v1 lane against the Lone Druid. It's kind of hard to harass the Lifestealer out of Bane with the Bear because of the Feast ability and just how it works. It steals percentage of max or current HP.
10 seconds remaining.
Boop. And of course the Bear is quite tanky just naturally. Has like 2700 HP or something like that at level 4. Which is just a ton of HP. When you're stealing percentage of that, Lifestealer can take some harass, hit the Bear once, get a bunch of his health back. And that makes him for a pretty decent matchup, at least for farming in lane against Lone Druid. Also, of course, is a melee hero who can just kind of attack at the same point as Lone Druid, try and contest farm that way. We'll see if that's how Dignitas plan on running him, why they picked him up here. They also have the Gyrocopter hero that we see farm in tri-lanes as well as go solo into the mid lane, sometimes even safe lane solo if they have another mid lane and run an aggressive tri-lane. Dignitas do have a lot of options with this 2 picks, even if they're both kind of almost always played as carries in the current competitive metagame. VP now going for their second and third picks, choosing to pick up both the Magnus and the Bane Elemental.
5 seconds remaining.
So they're going to have the team fight hero in the form of the Magnus, with that reverse polarity, of course, just always being a huge factor in how team fights play out, and could sometimes really force team fight. Even if you can't get a big reverse polarity off, just having the ability up, off cooldown on your side, can force the enemy team to sort of play these really spread out fights. And when you have a Lone Druid, that's not necessarily a bad thing for your team. If they're not getting into a big fight, you have a Lone Druid Bear that can just chase people down. They can't really run away from it because he's always got that chance to entangle you. He's quite fast. A lot of times they'll pick up something like an Orb of Venom to even give the slow on attack, to make it even easier for him to hit you, and it's only a matter of time till he gets those entangling roots and everyone rages because first hit or whatever. And of course, if they do try to just force the team fight and get in a big clump, and a reverse polarity comes out for Magnus, catches 3 even more heroes, can often just be a complete team wipe right off the back of that. And then the Bane, who's a hero that is particularly good against the Lifestealer as a support goes, with of course that Fiend's Grip ability. Goes through BKB-like effects, and most of the time you're picking up Lifestealer because he has that Rage ability. And with the Rage can do a lot more. It gives him all the attack speed as well as the magic immunity, so it really pumps up the amount of damage he can put out for a short period of time, and you can't really crowd control him for the most part. But having the Magnus with the reverse polarity is useful. Goes through BKB. They have the Bane with the Fiend's Grip. That goes through BKB. And they have the Lone Druid Bear with the Entangling Claws, and that goes through BKB. So Lifestealer, not going to be able to rely on that too heavily as the game goes on. Always going to have to be worried that some sort of crowd control is going to come his way. Dignitas now going with their third and final pickup of this first picking phase, and they're going to pick up the Nature's Prophet. Good hero once you see a Magnus up on the other side and you know you don't really want to team fight into it. You grab that Nature's Prophet and you can just start going for a pretty powerful split pushing lineup. On the back of him, we've seen Nature's Prophet kind of come back into the minds of the competitive scene. As of late, kind of dropped off for a while when no one was really focusing on split pushing on the back of Nature's Prophet. Some of that might be as a result of the Shadow Blade buffs that occurred a little while ago. Not too long. It was a while now. They buff Shadow Blade, and the way it works, it's harder to build into it, but it gives really good attack speed as well as damage. And of course the crit out of it, useful for picking off heroes and having that invisibility, always forcing enemies to have to buy something just to be able to kill you. Otherwise you could just pop the invis and pour it out and they can't do anything about it. Gonna hit this second ban phase now. Dignitas already running kind of 3 heroes that we typically see as core heroes, so it looks like they might be trying to pick up supports in that second pick phase. And we're going to see VP banning out the supports as a result. Keeper Light, Shadow Demon, as well as Rubik. Surprising to see Keeper Light make it all the way to the second ban phase. I've cast in quite a bit lately, and I don't think I've seen that very often, but we are going to see it here. And Dignitas choosing to ban out, looks like kind of all over the place with Clockwork, who we typically see in the off lane role. Alchemist sometimes farms in tri-lane, sometimes we've seen him in the mid lane, but maybe thinking he's a tri-lane farmer here. And also Lycan, a hero that we don't see picked up a ton. There are a few teams that do like trying to run that Lycanthrope, and we've seen him run in a variety of roles to that extent. They've been farming as a tri-lane. We've seen him in the jungle from time to time. It's kind of hard to jungle, a little bit unreliable now with the nerf to the HP on the wolves, but he's still quite a powerful carry, and it's kind of hard to contest him late game with the pushing power he can really bring to a team. So they are going to take him out here. And we're going to see a Leshrac get picked up by Virtus.Pro now. So another support hero right off the bat into this second pick phase. Choosing him probably to pair him up with the Bane Elemental. You have the Split Earth that you can land off Leshrac, and it's pretty easy to land when you have that Nightmare from Bane as a setup. And Dignitas is going to respond very quickly with the Shadow Shaman actually, so probably the first of the 2 supports they're looking for, assuming we're not expecting to see Gyrocopter run as a support. Not out of the question, don't get me wrong, but certainly atypical nowadays. We almost always see that Gyrocopter run in some sort of farming role. And the last pick coming up from VP gonna be the Weaver. Interested to see how they're gonna lane this Weaver, if they're gonna give him the solo lane and let Lone Druid take the tri-lane, or they're gonna have Lone Druid tri-lane and give Weaver the solo lane. I kind of expect Weaver the tri-lane. Did I say the same thing both times? I kind of expect to see Weaver farming in the tri-lane. I think it's a little bit better. Lone Druid is a little bit better at farming by himself, and the levels are pretty useful on both heroes, but typically Lone Druid with a couple levels up can do a lot of damage to towers, whereas Weaver, you're just kind of going to end up being a right-clicky type hero as the game goes on, who's moderately resilient with both the Shikuchi and the time-lapse. Dignitas looking for their final pickup, go with the Visage, so that's what we're going to see as their second support there. Visage is a hero that some teams really like, and other teams will seem like they would never pick up ever, wouldn't even think about it. Dignitas, of course, one of the teams that does like running the Visage. We'll see how it ends up working for them. I'm never certain how I really feel about the Visage pickups. He does a lot of burst damage early on in the game. Can really deal a lot of damage to the enemy team, but he's very, very mana hungry. And that's always a problem when you're trying to set up those kills in the tri-lane. If you don't have the mana to really support it, doesn't help too much to just have a really big bursty nuke and you're just looking at that blue tile wishing you could cast it to get a kill. But we are going to get into the game now. The lineups are set. We'll go over the players and their heroes, starting with Team Dignitas on the dire side. We got Aoi 2000 taking up the Gyrocopter. Fogged going to be on the Shadow Shaman. Way Too Sexy taking up the Visage. Universe going to be on the Lifestealer, and that leaves Snaking to be on that Nature's Prophet. It doesn't look like Snaking going to be heading towards the mid lane on the Nature's Prophet. I think they're trying to set up Lifestealer to run into the Lone Druid. Which is really what I would expect, but I'm not sure they're going to have to be able to find him in the off lane, bottom lane here. I'm almost certain Lone Druid's going to head all the way top. We'll see how it ends up working out and if they rotate to try and get that matchup, because otherwise Lifestealer are not going to run into a lot of farm in this bottom lane against the tri-lane. Meantime, Virtus.Pro going to be on the Radiant side. We got KSI taking up that Lone Druid. Crazy on the Magnus. NS on the Leshrac. Smile. Art. On the Bane Elemental. And finally Illidan going to be taking up the Weaver. We'll see where those supports end up going. It looks like they're hanging out bottom for now, checking the rune. In the lower river, it's going to be Invis. Smile going to wait it out. Probably ends up picking it up in a couple seconds. And we're seeing those supports down there. It looks like Universe making his way top. Might just end up jungling with this build, picking up the Hatchet, or Quelling Blade, and the Stout Shield.
Invisibility.
Trying to get whatever he can done as a jungler. Not something we see too often in competitive games, but it does appear to be what Universe is planning on doing there. Meantime, mid lane, it's going to be a matchup between the Magnus and the Nature's Prophet. Bane making his way towards this mid lane. Going to get that Nightmare up. Crazy going around. Only has Shockwave at level 1. There is, however, going to be the Split Earth, and that's a kill. Going the way of Crazy in the mid lane. First blood for Virtus.Pro in this best of 3 match. Snaking gonna respawn immediately, of course, being level 1. Shackles coming out from Fog on the bear, trying to prevent him. Even the Stolen Speed, or whatever. What is this called? Grave Chill. There. Trying to stop this bear. It looks like they actually might get it. Way Too Sexy. Trying to go for the blocks. Has another Grave Chill. Trying to do whatever he can. This bear. Another Shackles. Get the kill. Way Too Sexy. Getting that last hit. So that's going to be pretty tedious for KSI. He really wanted to steal that creep wave, I'm sure. Hasn't respawned in a couple seconds, so not going to be the worst thing ever, but going to hurt him in terms of getting experience early on. Meantime, back in the mid lane, Snaking a little bit behind now in terms of farm, as well as not too far actually in terms of a level. About 40 gold. Not the biggest deal, but of course Crazy does have that first blood money, and that means he has boots as well as a bottle already, and that's kind of tedious when it comes to this Nature's Prophet. You don't really want to run into that sort of thing. This guy Magnus can chase you down and has a lot of bursty damage. He's going to find an illusion rune top. KSI keeping it safe on that Lone Druid. At least scouting it out for him. He's going to be able to refill his bottle with that. So I'm getting some farm. On the Treants, looks like a smoke coming out from the supports on the Virtus.Pro lineup. Looking to set up another gank in the mid lane, it would seem. That's Sentry Ward, of course, their side, so I'm not going to be worrisome. And Snaking all the way on the opposite side. Smile already running in. And it looks like Snaking going to be able to get away just fine here. Universe making his way here as well. Needs to be kind of careful. Snaking them teleporting back to the tower. Looks like he has a bottle picked up now as well. That's one of the few teams I think that actually runs Nature's Prophet in the mid lane anymore. I've seen them do this before in the hands of Snaking. But not a lot of other teams would ever really consider putting him in here in the mid lane. They almost always just kind of offlane him and then end up running to the jungle. Much the same way Lifestealer is actually done. Universe up to level 3. Not the fastest farmer on the lifestealer, but doing okay it looks like here. Has some last hits, only about 10, but he is almost at to level 4. Ghosts. Not the most fun camp to fight when you're just right clicking them down. Anytime Illidan getting the best of the farm on the map right now in his Weaver. Going pretty close to even with the gyrocopter. It looks like Lone Druid has made his way to the jungle as well. KSI got stalled out too much, was never really able to get any sort of footing up in the top lane. Just gonna have to go and get what he can done in the Radiant jungle. Gonna head back up there now as a push appears to be coming out from the Dignitas lineup. And that's gonna mean creeps on his tower where he can safely farm them. Not gonna be super concerned about getting killed, I don't think. Phase Boots now picked up on Aoi, which is kind of concerning for the Lone Druid. He's quite fast and already does 90 damage a hit, especially with that flat cannon. Means KSI can't get particularly close, so push is coming out from both sides right now. KSI gonna get hit by that homing missile. And VP should be going a little bit faster in this push. They do have the Edict on their side to help just sort of deal some damage to the tower. It's almost down already. The glyph still up, but it doesn't look like they're going to use it, and Bane actually getting the last hit on the tower. Meantime, he's continuing to dive past the creep wave up here. They kill the bear off once again. He does have a resummon, but going to take the harass nonetheless, and this tower going down as well. Up in the top lane. Aoi able to get that last hit on his gyrocopter. So going to give him a little bit of additional farm. As well as surpassing Illidan in terms of last hits now, just because he was able to use that flat cannon to clear off those creep waves behind the tower. Whereas probably used the lightning storm from Leshrac to really do it bottom. Trying to continue into the tier 2 tower, the ult from Nature's Prophet doing a lot of damage to these supports as well as the Weaver. Might be actually forcing them back. We have a Ring of Health picked up on Weaver. So it looks like we're going to be seeing a Lincoln Sphere rush coming out from him. Might choose to finish up boots or something before actually committing to it. Ring of Health just gives him a lot of sustainability in the lane. Crazy continuing to farm the mid lane as Arcane Boots picked up now, while Nature's Prophet pretty much caught up on farm. Seemingly about 500 gold behind, which is certainly not the worst. Crazy continue to farm. It looks like Snaking trying to find the rune bottom. Gonna spot that it's not there and port top immediately. It's a regen rune, so he gets to bottle that. And it looks like he's picking up his treads. Smoke once again coming out from these supports on the Virtus.Pro lineup. And it's trying to stay hidden. Skewer not gonna latch on Snaking, but there's the reverse polarity and the splitter to finish him off. It looks like someone else thinking about porting in. That was fogged on the Shadow Shaman, I believe, but not going to come in. As it's too late, Snaking's already dead, and if he comes in, that's just feeding another kill. Smile taking a little bit harassed now from the tower. Looks like Way Too Sexy has made his way in here on the Visage, but not really going to be able to do too much about it. Lone Druid's here as well. With the Bear, of course, not a high enough level to have that Demolish ability yet, but can at least tank up the tower quite a bit. And Bane getting the last hit on that tower as well. Nature's Prophet looking to fly through and does a lot of damage to the Bear. Probably much to KSI's chagrin, so he would probably prefer it was at lots of health so he can sit in jungle, try and get some levels up. He needs to get at least level 5 so he can have the Roots ability up on that Bear. Pretty important thing to have if he ever wants to be able to actually kill anyone. And level 7 up now on the Lifestealer. He's got a Midas. So definitely doing pretty well in this jungle. And we'll see how long he decides to just hang out here. Maybe just finish up his armlet before he tries to get involved elsewhere on the map, or even head to that bottom lane, since Weaver is still not going to be a particularly great matchup for him. Who is continuing to farm bottom as well. Up to 1900 gold. Still not sure what he's going to want to go for. We're starting to see Weaver played more and more, but I feel like everyone builds him a little bit differently. Have lots of options if they just want to go for something sort of that gives damage. Like build boots into something like we've seen Crystalises coming out early on. Really wouldn't be particularly surprised if they do go for the Lincoln Sphere, however. Runes getting activated all over the map. And a push coming out in this top lane. Snaking has made his way up as well. Fog throwing out that Ether Shock, trying to clear this creep wave off as quickly as possible. But it looks like VP are ready to try and defend. Lightning coming out from the left side, trying to stall this push up, kill off some of the creep wave, as well as pull it behind the tower. So it's not really taken out, but there are still the treants from Nature's Prophet there. Homing missile going to come out on Smile and kill it off before it lands. And it looks like Dignitas going to be stalled out, choosing to give it back. Or back off for the moment. While Weaver putting some pressure on this bottom lane, Illidan hanging out, farming, pressuring towers, knows that he had the moment. What with 4 heroes? Actually all 5 heroes from Dignitas up in that top lane trying to get the tier 2. And he's having a little bit more success. Both tier 2 towers below half HP. But the dire one a little bit lower, just a little bit lower. KSI continuing to farm in this jungle, trying to get anything done that he can. He has a Midas picked up as well on his Baron, not as fast as the Midas of the Lifestealer. But a lot of Midas is coming out this game, and none of them on the Nature's Prophet, which is moderately surprising. It looks like Snaking, thinking about going in towards the top lane, has the Lifestealer infested. Maybe hoping one of these supports will just come out a little bit farther. And could set up a gank with the Lifestealer as well as the Nature's Prophet. Everyone just sitting around. Looks like a Shadowblade going to be Gyrocopter's first pickup. Can't really safely farm at the moment. Now he's going in. Looks like a gank coming off on the support Smile. Going to get the ult off on Snaking. It looks like it's going to be his death. Weaver getting that last hit. The reverse polarity lands on 3 from Crazy. Weaver trying to do whatever damage he can. Way too sexy. Gonna go down, it looks like, and Weaver gonna kill Universe as well. So double kill there for Illidan, and that's a 4-for-1 trade. They only managed to get off the Bane. They lose everything but the Shadow Shaman, who wasn't even there. That reverse polarity from Crazy, catching all 3 heroes, really set up the rest of that fight. And of course, NS, with all the AoE nukes that he's got going on, he's actually maxing the Lightning Storm. So he was able to do quite a bit of damage with that. And now this tier 1 tower in the top lane, looking to be in some trouble. Looks like VP just going to back off though. No, they just popped all their ults. They just took 4 kills for only losing the support Bane. Don't need to force the fight. Gotta feel like they're pretty confident in their farm right now.
Dire's top tower is under
especially with taking kills like that in a pretty big team fight. Just wait for cooldowns out. If they try and go for something again, be aware. And that means we got a second, so we can take a quick look at the experience and goal graphs. Experience going to be just over 2K in favor of Virtus.Pro. Gold sitting about 3.5, almost 4K. So they do have a little bit of a lead accumulated here. And of course, fights like that helping to create those leads. Looks like Dignitas pushing down this bottom lane. At the moment, Illidan is here, trying to be involved. Stalled up as best he can. He can just go invisible to dodge the homing missile with the Shikuchi. Gonna throw out the swarm as well. Universe taking a little bit of harass from the shockwave. There are a lot of heroes down here. Crazy needs to be kind of careful. But in the meantime, Aoi loses his life. Fog gonna get the ult off, but he's dead as well. The only one left alive, way too sexy, and he's gonna go down. That's a 3-for-0 trade, and they're chasing Lone Druid, chasing after Snaking, not gonna be able to get him. It looks like he's gonna give it up, not try and go after Universe on the Lifestealer. Not a fight he's gonna be particularly great at winning.
Radiant's middle tower
Looks like a TP scroll picked up on the Spirit Bear. Brings it to his hero just in case. As well as the Midas.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
So another 3 quick kills going the way of Virtus.Pro in this bottom lane. And Dignitas feeling like they're not really able to get a lot done, even without the reverse polarity up there. I guess the Fiend's Grip was up once again. It's a pretty good ability to have, but didn't have the big team fight ult, and they were still able to kind of win a team fight. And that's a reverse polarity coming off on just way too sexy here. Bane gonna get the brain cell. Calldown gonna land. Quite a few heroes. Smile, and maybe a little bit over his head, gonna sleep. Aoi trying to get out. Shackles coming off from him. In the meantime, Universe getting a fight. Gonna be able to kill off Crazy. Snaking looks like he's gonna be going down to Illidan. Trying to pour it out, and it looks like he's gonna be able to pour out. Illidan not able to get that kill, so they end up trading 1-for-1. Crazy for way too sexy. And Crazy able to actually decides to buy back, comes back bottom right away. Kind of surprised he went for that reverse plane. He only really caught it on Way Too Sexy, the Visage. Not the most high priority targets. And smoke coming out from these two supports now on the Dignitas side. Illidan looking like he feels pretty aggressive here. That's a very fast Lincoln Sphere. Like 12 minutes in, he had the Lincolns. Nothing else picked up really as the Ring of Basilius and just a stick, but it's going to be pretty hard to kill as a result of it. We'll see what he goes for next. Kind of just expecting to see some treads or the like coming up. Maybe even phase boots if he just wants the damage. With how the kind of course of the game is going right now. Gargoyle's going to get spotted out. Not going down. Owie going to use a homing missile on Illidan. Gets broken by the Lincolns. And everyone from Dignitas lineup, except for Snaking, in that middle lane at the moment. Snaking hanging out bottom, and it looks like the top tower is just going to go down with VP. They're not really willing to contest. Not sure what they're trying to get done here. It looks like they're going to use another smoke. They're going in Roshan. Universe. Going to be visible here. It looks like he's not going to head in. Doesn't want to risk giving it away. They have that medallion up on probably Way Too Sexy. No, Snaking? Snaking picked up a medallion. So they look like they're going to be able to get this. Illidan going to spot it out with the swarm, but there's a lot of stuff in there, including the Serpent Ward, so Illidan not really going to be able to try and go in there to contest. They're just going to kill off the swarm and get some money. And it looks like that's going to be it for here. Illidan thinking about farming up those Serpent Wards, going to go for it. Free money.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
And it looks like now Virtus.Pro going for the tier 2 tower in the mid lane. Called on going to be used. Only going to really land on NS. Barry able to get recalled out of it in time. So doing quite a bit of damage to him. Aoi once again going to just break that Lincoln's.
Dire's middle tower has fallen.
So tier 2 going to go down completely for free. A smile once again. Getting the last hit on towers. He has last hit quite a few towers this game. He's been pretty farmed. This Bane on so it looks like he's just going to go straight for that BKB. And then the split push come out from Snaking. Able to finish off that tier 1 in the bottom finally. But they're losing tier 2s and only taking tier 1s in trade. And they're feeling like they can't take team fights. Especially now that the bear is starting to get quite big. He's got an Orb of Venom as well as phase bits on the bear. How much gold does he get? Only 1,000. But, you know, bear hits for 100 damage and has those stupid entangling claws that no one really wants to deal with. Kind of fearsome, and of course you can start hitting on this tier 2 tower with that demolish ability. He's high enough now. We have some heroes in the bottom lane for Dignitas. Looks like they're just going to try and set up some sort of tower trade. But that's going to leave them with their last tier 2 down. Not really utilizing this Aegis that they have up on Aoi. And the tier 2 already down in the top lane. It looks like Illidan just going to port in and try and defend this tier 2 bottom. And looking like he's having success. Going to be able to do it. Just popping the Shikuchi to harass as many creeps with the damage. Until they do lose their tier 1. With a combination of the Serpent Wards and the Visage and Gargoyles. This tower's falling all over the map, but they're trading, right now Dignitas are trading their tier 2s for tier 1s on the side of VP, and that's not really the position you want to be in. Now they're only left with tier 3s on Dignitas' side, and they haven't taken a single tier 2 yet. It's kind of far behind in terms of towers, and it looks like VP pushing up this mid lane. I'd be kind of surprised to see them go for an actual high ground now. At least while the Aegis is still up on the Dignitas lineup, they get a couple minutes where they can just sit back, keep the pressure on, and farm before they really decide to force a fight. Weaver does appear to be heading towards that mid lane now, however, so they might be thinking they're just in a position where they can even fight through the Aegis. Aoi doesn't do a particularly large amount of damage yet, only really has the phase boots as well as the Shadow Blade pickup. And they're going to start trying to fight the tower. Nature's Prophet all going to fly through, kills off most of the creep wave rather quickly. Bear going to get recalled, the Grave Chill not going to lead to too much on him. And they're hanging out, waiting for the next creep wave. And here it comes, so the Bear gonna start hitting the tower once again. Dignitas need to do something about this. They can't just sit and watch the Bear slowly kill their tower off. Homing Missile is gonna come out as well as the Grave Chill on the Bear this time. He's down to half HP. Yeah, Fiend's Grip goes through Rage from Nakes. That's what I was talking about during the draft. That's kind of why you pick him up. And when you looked at the first three heroes that Virtus.Pro picked up, all three of them had abilities that go through Rage. The Reverse Polarity, the Fiend's Grip, as well as the Entangling Claws. And of course Weaver just mostly right-clicking. Reverse Polarity gonna catch a 3 Skewer, pulling them back. Aoi immediately killed off, as well as the Shadow Shaman and the Life Stealer. Aegis gonna pop, but Aoi now in the middle of the team. Gonna get the call down off. Shadow blading away, trying to survive, gets slept. And he's gonna get killed off. Smile, getting the last hit. Buys back immediately, so we have a buyback from both the Lifestealer and the Gyrocopter, and it looks like Virtus.Pro are happy to just back off after that fight. They take 3 kills completely for free. They fight through the Aegis and force out 2 buybacks. But in the meantime, Snaking was able to take that tier 2 top lane. While they were getting stalled out in their push, and it looks like he's trying to pressure that tier 2 in the bottom lane once again as well. Needs to be somewhat careful. He has an Orchid picked up, which means he can get in a fight with Smile. And possibly even win. And we have everyone from Dignitas now heading towards the bottom lane. It's double damager in the lower river. It doesn't look like they noticed. They're coming trying to set up a gank, I think. Lifestealer going to infest and Snaking, and he's getting ready to port in behind enemy lines. Here we go. Snaking gonna be there. Call Dog gonna be used as well as the infest pop out. Snaking taking a lot of damage, but KSI taking more. The Entangling Claws gonna land on Universe. He's really low on HP already, and Nature's Prophet just getting killed off by Leshrac. Now Universe getting chased down. The Gargoyle's not doing a lot here. Way too sexy. I don't know if he was mismicroing a little bit. In the meantime, it sounds like Shackle's getting used up, but the Skewer gonna kill him off. And Aoi gonna go down as well now. Back on the other side of the fight. Looks like they were able to kill off the Leshrac, but he's gonna lose his life porting out, and Way too sexy gets slept trying to port out as well. So that's gonna be his death as well. Weaver getting the last hit, and can they kill? They get a kill on the Gargoyle as well. A ton of gold going the way of Weaver. He's up to 2,000 gold beyond having this Demon Edge. Not the kind of fight that Dignitas wants to be taken. They get a couple kills, or 1 kill even. Only the 1 on Leshrac. And they lose their entire team, and they don't have buybacks up on core heroes. Of course, they're low enough level right now that they can just respawn before they get to the base. But it's feeling like VP are in a pretty dominant position right now. We can take another quick look at graphs while this push is starting to gain some momentum in the mid lane. 12k now, the experience lead. About 10k the gold, both in favor of Virtus.Pro. And Dignitas feeling like they're pretty far out of this match.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Call Dog going to be used, but the tower already gone. There is the armlet up on that Bear now. In the meantime, Fog getting killed off by the Fiend's Grip. Reverse Player going to catch on 2 once again, and they're going to skewer it back. They're dead immediately. A triple kill for Weaver.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
21-3 now, this kill score in favor of Virtus.Pro, and you gotta feel like Dignitas know they're out of it. I wonder how much the tight schedule Virtus.Pro is on is really contributing to them not giving this up yet. If they think they can stall it out and maybe make them end up having to leave. I don't know, but this game not going to last too much longer, even if they don't decide to call GG. The second lane getting taken out. Double damage up on Crazy. Fog trying to do what he can with an Ether Shot. And that's going to be 2 sets of racks taken on the back of that fight. Just pushing straight in to the Dignitas lineup. Now VP going to back off. And we'll see how long it is until they decide to push this top lane. The last remaining lane. There's a creep wave all the way at their tower, so they're going to have to start pretty far back. And Dignitas just feel like they don't have anything that they can do at this point. Universe looks like he's still trying to get his armlet, has the phase boots and the drums picked up. Aoi tried to get a BKB, but still kind of far off. Snaking has that Orchid. I'm not 100% clear on whether the Orchid is the right pickup. It's pretty good against several of the heroes, I guess, on the Virtus.Pro lineup, and if you're in a better position, sure, it's a good item, but there are actually lots of targets you want to get, and maybe the Sheep's going for a Scythe would have been a little bit more useful. This player's going to be a little late in snaking there. Call down getting used by Smile, who has a BKB before the farming Gyrocopter. Reverse player going to catch on nothing. And that's in trouble. Ghost up on NS, keeping him alive. Nature's Prophet finally going to go down. The Bear getting the Entangling Claws off on way too sexy. KSI trying to stay around as long as he can to try and get kills. The Bear goes down. That almost kills off KSI. He's getting chased by Aoi. Trying to port out, but it's going to be his death from snaking. Now Smile, trapped in trees, going to get killed off as well. Double kill for snaking there. Everyone's going to have buybacks, though, on the Virtus.Pro lineup. It's 6-22 now. Dignitas able to grab 3 kills, only losing, I think, 1 of their own, or 2 of their own.
Invisibility.
No, snaking died and bought back. I don't think anyone else died. And reverse polarity from Crazy. He's had some good ones this game, catching 3+ heroes several times, but that one didn't land on anything, and that really set up that fight for Dignitas. They already had a lot of damage coming out. That was a kind of a band-aid reverse polarity. He was going to try and save whatever he could from the fight, try and allow his allies to get away, maybe get enough burst damage off to kill some people, take the fight. But when you miss a big reverse player like that in a position like that, the fight is pretty far out of your reach, and it looks like Dignitas just gonna go for Roshan with it. We have the Monkey King bar up on Weaver. It looks like he's going for a Heart Next, has a Vitality booster picked up. So just has no intention whatsoever of dying in this particular game. Once again coming in, he's gonna get hexed up here. And gonna just immediately time-lapse Fog taken out. Lifestealer gonna get the Aegis, the call down being used, gonna land on several heroes once again, but the Bear gonna be able to get out of it. In the meantime, Smile has that ult back off, as well as the BKB, just uses it to kill off Universe. Snaking very low on HP, but it looks like he's gonna be able to get out alive. Weaver pretty low as well, but trying to put as much auto attack damage as he can through. Universe gonna die off. And some gargoyles getting killed as well. Now farming up these Serpent Wards. So VP able to take a couple kills back. They do lose Roshan, but they kill the Aegis off immediately, as well as killing the Lifestealer again afterwards. And now VP just pushing up the mid lane, and now going to rotate towards top, it looks like. Just go for the racks. Hyperstone up on the Bear now, just when he needs more attack speed. Reverse player only going to land on Fogged, but he's going to kill Fogged, so it's something. Gargoyle going to land and deal quite a bit of damage because it catches several heroes in the call down. A little good micro there coming out from Way Too Sexy, but too little too late. And Way Too Sexy taking some damage. Illidan still alive, triple kill for him now. Looks like Lone Druid was able to kill off the Visage in the meantime. Everyone low on HP. The only one left alive is Universe, and GG finally gonna get called by Dignitas. So we can NN. That's close to G, right? N. It's a couple keys away. But VP will take it 28-6, the final kill count. And it's looking like they were kind of super far ahead in this game.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
I don't even necessarily think you could attribute it too much to their lanes. They got the free lane they wanted for their Gyrocopter and gave the free lane to Weaver. You have to be moderately concerned about Weaver being just a little bit harder of a carry than Gyrocopter typically ends up being.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
But they just kind of lost a team fight right away, and that's a problem when you kind of get forced into fighting 5v5 early on because all your towers are down and your split push not really working the way it needs to. And gotta kind of question, maybe this is why we don't see Shadow Shaman and Visage picked up as often as a lot of other supports. Of course, they left the supports for the last pick phase, so they just got a lot of the ones they would have probably wanted banned. We'll see if they can take it back in this second game, maybe pull out a little bit more of an impressive draft, get something done. I don't know. But VP do take it, 27-47 the end timer. Here's the scoreboard for you guys. Of course, it felt like it was over well before that. Once again, my name is Knaz, casting this Russian Dota 2 League winner bracket final match, best of 3, between Team Dignitas and Virtus.Pro. That was game 1. VP do take it. So we'll be back momentarily while we wait for that second game to get started. See if Dignitas can pull one out, pull it to a full best of 3, or VP going to take it 2-0. Be right back, and feel free to stick around.